Now, yes, time is up. As I was warning, and as the thumbnail shows, and those who actually been in the community and seen the videos before, I warned about this a while back. I would say a handful of months ago, in fact, before the breakdown even started. In fact, those who've been part of the community know I warned about how excessively how potentially excessive this rally up may be when we were still on our way down. You can literally watch my videos from around the 20th of March this year, the kind of, the vicinity of the end of, well, since the beginning, I would say, of March, even when we started the beginning, the movement downwards, I started warning how excessive it appears to be, especially when we reached the bottom of that retracement that we had. And I was warning how this may be so misleading that later down the line, people will get so conditioned to the point where they will think that the rally will proceed and will exceed the previous all-time highs and in fact break out. While if we go over the actual time frames, what we realize the market is already starting to be prepared for a breakdown, for a turnaround. In fact, for example, this as may appear as bullish, in reality being under 50 or breaking in the 50 vicinity signals or signifies a very bearish momentum. As we can see on extending the time frame is going to 45, it already starts to show the curvature of that movement, and so we should expect a sort of transition into that bearish momentum very, very shortly. In fact, I was warning about this for the last handful of weeks, and in fact, again, since the beginning of the month, and in fact, prior to, and I was saying how this will be a corrective movement to some extent, but most of it will end up spending that bullish momentum in order to correct without even actually exceeding out of the channel. Those who understand what I'm talking about, we have these charts to show exactly what I'm trying to refer to. As you can see, some of the channels are already starting to spill over inwards. If we're looking at the 45, 1 hour, for example, 45 minutes, we know it already gone basically flat almost. We're seeing the larger channels basically going flat-ish, kind of flattening into the curve. Now, our daily, in fact, as you can see, already turned around and completely curved downwards, which now we're basically testing the ceiling of. And exactly as I was warning, what may happen here is when, if we do reach these highs, depending on how quickly we will do that, we will end up completing some of the gaps we have left over within that vicinity, and that's not going to be all that surprising. But as you can tell, the daily stochastic RSI is already signaling that we're basically stuck to the ceiling. That means we're running full speed, if you will, on that bullish momentum and about to give. Something I was warning that may happen is we're going to have this sort of head and shoulder representation of a structure, which some of you may not realize actually is representative of an actual head and shoulders that is being structured here all along. Let me highlight that one. You can see here is basically the shoulder, the first limb. Then we had here the completion of the shoulder, movement into the neckline, head, and now we're gonna transition back in, completing probably some sort of movement of this sort, or maybe even quicker, and allowing us to reach the very same lows that we've reached before and maybe even lower, crashing into 46, 45 area, the same way we've exceeded the channel and spilled outwards, if you will, had slippage. The same way this time around with the accumulated momentum towards the downside, as we'll be having it with the near weeks, I would argue. We will see that this momentum may actually end up spilling us over into and having some form of a correction. Again, I'm not going to argue how this correction may look. It may even, again, do some sort of scenario of what we had before, but very, very, very unlikely. I'll explain that later down the line. Remember, we do something simpler. We follow how the momentum is playing out and what the momentum is showing. Very similarly, the very quick, short-range channel, pardon me, on our weekly is also bearish, and will continue tugging downwards and bringing this channel, sort of bringing the movement within the channel even lower and lower. So we're kind of seeing it is a little bit high to where we transition. We've expected their transition to happen slightly earlier, but all in all, we still are in a clear, distinct movement in to oversold territory on stochastic RSI, allowing us to complete again the movement to the bottom of the channel here, testing it and potentially breaking out of it, as we said, moving even lower, establishing the new downwards channel, something akin to this. Okay, that is overall what I'm sort of expecting from the market. As you can see and watch my videos from a month ago, all the assets other than Palantir played out perfectly as expected. Pretty much, again, all the analysis we had, we still used to analyze the individual assets of the market on the lives. Now we don't do that anymore. By the way, heads up, those who don't know, the Patreon is currently discounted, and so the community members were aware of what is coming up and what's going on, how things may play out. I highly recommend you all join the Patreon, especially right now, that will allow you access to the Discord, where we discuss all of these topics, where the members get ad-free exclusive videos, that breakdowns of the market, individual assets, 2 meetings a week potentially if you're on the $40 tier, the advanced, starting to get it now kind of things. It's the advanced tier, if you will. Very important to note, this tier is currently 60% discounted. In 10 days from now, 11 days really, the end of the month, this tier will be going to $100. This tier will never be, again, $40. It will be increasing to $100. The discount will be off. Currently, by default, it's discounted. Also, if you pay annually, you can even get it even more discounted, merely $36 a month, right? And so sign up. Join the Discord. That way you'll be always in the know. For example, you will be able to join our daily discussions, of course, our hangouts in the open forum. You'll get to see the testimonials about the one-on-one academy, to which I have now 2 spots available. Those who don't know, by the way, I've made an announcement, a very important announcement, that when the stock market will hit 5,000 again, the SPX will hit 5,000 again, the price will be hiked from $3,000 for the academy. It will be hiked to $3,500, and then once the market SPX hits 4,000, we're going to be hiking the academy to $4,000. So definitely sign up now. Don't miss out. There are only 2 spots. The rest of the spots can only be then booked for the future, so you don't have to wait and sort of try and catch it at the right time and pay a higher price later down the line. Currently, like I said, only 2 spots available, as you can see right here in this post. And that's it, boys and girls. Be very attentive. I already warned you about the upcoming events. I warned you about how the market will end up misleading the vast sort of, retail participants to thinking, oh, that's it. From here on out, everything is fine and we're going to rally into the moon. And they will completely forget that there is a larger scheme downwards sort of structure here, or a cycle, if you will, that's going to persist and take a lot longer. In fact, some of the experts like myself were all looking at potentially several years of downtrend. It doesn't matter whether it's going to be full of these downwards, upwards movements. The overall result will be with the market hitting as low as 3,300, in my own assumption. Of course, we all have different assessments to how low the market can go or how long may it take. We are not trying to time the market. Those who understand what technical analysis is all about but it's not about timing the market, but rather identifying actual strong support and resistance levels, knowing what the cycles represent, why the cycles the way they are, and then being able to identify the downwards and upwards movements within that framework, right? Whether using Fibonacci retracements, whether it's using stochastic RSI and other momentum tools, whether it's relying on channels and data points that give us the structure, basically moving averages of sorts. So there's plenty of tools to know. In fact, just kind of let me bring it on to screen right now real quick, just so you have an idea what the One-on-One Academy gives you. I'd highly recommend right now to sign up and not miss the opportunity. That way, unlike the rest of the public, you'll actually be in the know and not be confused about the current market occurrences, and will be actually independent, right? That is it, boys and girls. I already sounded the alarm many, many times. I warned about the upcoming events, and I don't want to hear, oh, Greg, you didn't say, you didn't shout it from the rooftops every single day, because I have. I warned also many times that this exact occurrence will play out exactly the way it is. And consider this not even a final warning, more so as a don't say later I didn't warn you kind of a video, if anything, because we already sounded the alarm. And I think it's pretty more and clear and evident what the market is about to do. So it's up to you. It's one of those kind of, do this or miss out, and don't be crying me a river, or rather you can cry me a river later down the line, because that's the only thing you'll have left to do. That's it, boys and girls. Much love. See you all in the community. And yeah, don't forget, when you do join up, to connect your accounts if need be, right? You need to go here to the left click me partition. If you're a YouTube member, connect your YouTube membership. If you're a Patreon member, connect your Patreon membership. Have various tips and hints to how you should do things and what's where. Then once you complete this process, you are into our lovely Discord server. It is 100% private, so you're not going to be harassed by various scammers and all sorts of nonsense, right? And then you'll be able to join us and learn more through the academy, learn through various channels and hangouts that we have, join the meetings that we have scheduled every week, and all sorts of cool things. That's it, boys and girls. Much love. See you on the next one. Bye for now.